yesterday was the anniversary of October the 7th, and the day that has somehow changed the whole face of the region. And looking back at what has happened during the 2 years, and at the axis of resistance at the Israelis, when we look at the axis of resistance in Lebanon, it was the assassination of Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah together with his commanders. In Iran, we had the top commanders in Iran being assassinated by Israel. We had the same sort of policy in Yemen and the assassination of the prime minister of Yemen together with his cabinet members. On the other hand, you see on the battlefield, before what has happened in Syria, the fall of Assad regime, we had Israelis being defeated on the ground in the southern part of Lebanon before asking for ceasefire. And during the war with Iran, as we know today, they were asking for, to put an end to the conflict. They wanted some sort of ceasefire. With Yemen, the United States came to the Red Sea and they tried to do their best. After all, Donald Trump said they capitulated, but it wasn't that. It wasn't the case. That it seems that after all, the United States has decided that they cannot do nothing. They cannot do anything to Yemenis to change their mind, and somehow they've been defeated, and they decided to leave the Red Sea. All of these events together, what has happened so far, what's your understanding on the axis of resistance, what it was before and what it is today?
Well, look, first off, October 7th is going to be remembered as a day that changed everything in the world, not only in this region here. It has, shown us everything revealed fully, all the propaganda that has accumulated in 80 years since the end of World War II about international law, about human rights, about international organizations, about the possibilities of peace and war in this world, about what is Western societies and what is the freedoms that these peoples have, and revealed every state for truly where it stands and its elites. I think it will be remembered October 7th like World War II. This is how drastic it is in terms of the change that we have seen globally since October 7th. This is, up until now, the most important event in the 21st century. And what we should also remember here, that because this action by the Palestinian peoples that are imprisoned in the concentration camp of Gaza, that it was so ingenuitive, so brilliant, so successful, that it humiliated the might of the whole Western Empire. Besieged peoples in Gaza were able to capture 12 Israeli military bases and kill and capture the 12 most important generals in the Israeli military, under the watch of all the technologies of the West, using the most basic things that they can find. This in itself, this success, forced the West into this genocide that we see. The West and the Zionist colony cannot withstand a defeat like this. The Palestinians had to be made example of, because other nations on this planet that are oppressed, that are occupied, could have gotten ideas of that they can also achieve what the Palestinian resistance achieved on October 7th. So this open, non-stop, deliberately broadcasted genocide and abuse of the Palestinians, and the killings of civilians and leaderships in Yemen, in Palestine, in Iran, in Lebanon, were all done intentionally in such severe ways, the terrorist pager attack and what have you, so brazen in their terrorism, in their criminality, in their Satanism. This is all intentionally done in this way in order to, have all those peoples that got inspired on October 7th, the vast majority of humanity that got inspired on October 7th, to feel that the cost is too high to resist the supremacy of the West. Having said this, it's very important to remember that there was in history also other daring uh, operations by oppressed colonized peoples that uh, were so daring that also the West, the colonizers, resorted to mass genocide in order to deter, again, once more, these actions being taken by the colonized. And in those cases, like in Vietnam, the Tet Offensive that took the West, the United States, France by surprise, that led to mass defeat initially of the colonizers, was followed up by the mass genocide of mass bombardments of villages and towns in Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia, leading to 6 million Laotians, Cambodians, and Vietnamese being killed. But even this was only a delay of the reality. There was no return after the Tet Offensive to the possibility of American hegemony over Vietnam. It took years. The genocide didn't stop, but the US was defeated in the end and packed up and left. That also happened in Haiti with the Haitian Revolution against the French occupation, which was a very daring operation where the slaves rose up and slaughtered the leadership of the French occupation and military in Haiti. And the response was mass genocide, but in the end, also France had to leave Haiti. So we have historical record that if you, as a colonized, oppressed people, land a blow that is so psychologically, jarring to the occupiers, to their view of themselves as superior, to the view of the rest of humanity that is oppressed against them as superior. Because remember, like today, there's nobody that gives a damn about Israelis as more superior, about their Karmaga, about Mossad, about any of those things. They have all been diffused as propaganda. If you do something like this, the enemy, the colonizer, will attempt to also score psychologically scarring goals, as with the assassination of Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, as with the assassination of Hania in Iran and or their leadership. But if you do not get scarred from this psychologically, because we can replace our leaders. I know we all love Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah and all the leadership in Iran, Yemen, and Lebanon, and Palestine. They are the best of us in this age. But our nations are still fertile. They are birthing these resistance leaders, and they will be birthing more of them. And so I see it as a predictable price. And it is a price that Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah himself on October 8th, like today, 2 years ago, has taken a decision to join the Palestinians in their fight after October 7th, knowing the possibilities of what is to come from such a vicious enemy that cannot withstand such a honorable, successful, ingenuitive operation like October 7th?
I think the nature of the relationship between different parts of the axis of resistance is somehow different because you look at the Trump's peace plan and the reaction coming from Yemenis, for example. They said they did everything, they sacrificed everything for the case of Palestine. But they said, after all, we are all dependent on the decisions on the part of Hamas and the people of Palestine. And, they're not asking for anything. They did, as you mentioned, with the case of Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, what has happened to him. Many people, I remember, they were talking about that Hezbollah is benefiting from what's going on in Palestine, and it was totally the opposite. Hezbollah was sacrificing, was fighting because of the acts of resistance, because of the situation in Palestine. For many people in the West, it's so much difficult to understand the nature of the relationship that exists, you know, among the people within the acts of resistance. How can you describe it? What is that quality or that nature that is somehow difficult for many people to understand it?
The first thing is, of course, principles. And those who are leading these movements in Yemen, in Iran, in Lebanon, in Palestine, have principles that are even part of their faith. The idea of rescuing and helping and aiding those who are oppressed. The idea of standing against, dictators and colonizers and genociders. That is part of the faith of anyone who actually truly is a Muslim, whether they're Shia or Sunni. But above and beyond that, it is also the clear understanding that it's impossible to have a free Yemen as long as the Zionist colony exists. As long as the Zionist colony exists, the Arab vassal regimes that the Arabic peoples fought against since the end of World War I will remain. They only exist. The Saud family and the Thani family and the Thanayan family and Zayed family, all of those royal quote unquote families in the Arabic world only exist today because of the existence of the Zionist colony. Otherwise, the Arabic revolutions in the end of World War II would have swept them away, and we would have had an Arab unified nation. So the leadership of Hezbollah understands that it's impossible to have safety, security, prosperity, freedoms in Lebanon as long as the Zionist colony is there. Similarly, Iran knows there is no way to have safety for the Iranian people and truly for Iran to be safe, to be a sovereign nation that uh, cares for its own populace and its own best outcomes for its state, if there is a Zionist colony and its vassals around it. This is, on the one hand, a principled decision to stand with Palestine from point of view of religion, human rights, humanity, history, justice, and is also a logical position from a selfish point of view. You cannot, as an Arabic or Muslim person, be free, truly free anywhere on this planet, not only in Iran or Yemen or Lebanon, if there is a Zionist colony, and if the West still is forcing every Arab and every Muslim on this planet to get a job, to be able to speak, to be an artist, to be a doctor in the UK, you have to pledge allegiance to the Zionist colony and say that Jews are supreme to you as an Arab or a Muslim. So from a selfish point of view, and from a principled point of view. There is no freedom, justice, liberty, or safety for anyone who is Arab or Muslim on this planet as long as the Zionist colony exists.